Yeah, good evening, everyone. Sorry for delay. Due to some technical reason, we have delayed for 10 minutes. Am I audible?
Yes. Loud and clear, visible and audible both, Pankaj bhaiya.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Today's topic is group discussion on global accounts outsourcing. And we have a very good initiator who is working on this field, CA Rahul Kumar. And he will deliberate on the global accounts outsourcing opportunities and different challenges which everyone face. Okay. Rahul is a chartered accountant and he is doing outsourcing for Australian companies. And he has very good exposure in banking also. Now I request CA Rahul Kumar to deliberate on the topic. Rahul, please start.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you, Pankaj Bhaiya, for your kind remarks. And first of all, I am very thankful for the VIPCA for giving me an opportunity so that I can express my opinion on global shared services, which we fondly call as a KPO. So before we proceed forward, first let us take 1 minute silence for those who have lost their lives yesterday. It was really very unfortunate event yesterday. So we'll be pausing for 1 minute. Thank you. So we'll start now. So as today is a group discussion, so it is not kind of seminar wherein I will be only speaking and others will be only listening. So since it is a group discussion, so I would request involvement of each and everyone so that we can take it forward and we can share insights as well as I can also receive insights that what can be done, how it can be done. So first of all, let us understand what is KPO all about, or rather why this topic is being so relevant today, that today we are speaking so much on KPO, we are listening everywhere, KPO. So friends, let me tell you that KPO is nothing but it's a sort of outsourcing activity wherein we are taking accounting and tax compliance on outsourcing model from different countries. So as we say KPO, hope I'm audible, right? So as we say KPO in accounting in our accounting domain for let's say today, so it's about that we are taking accounting assignments on outsourcing model from different countries. Now we have to understand very precisely here that why it is becoming so relevant today. So friends, let me tell you that it is not something which is becoming relevant today. Rather, big fours are doing it since ages. So it's not that this topic is relevant. Big fours are doing it since long time. So, but since it was not so approachable for you can say for small and medium practitioners, so that it was not that approachable. So now it is being approachable. It is being approachable for we as a chartered accountant, for we as a small and medium firms. We can also approach things. So this is why this practice is being relevant. So first of all, we'll be understanding quickly that what is the benefit of it. Why we all are mostly changing up for outsourcing activities. So first of all, we have to understand that can only accounting function be outsourced? No, only accounting function cannot be outsourced. Rather, taxation can be outsourced. We'll be sticking to only finance domain. Rather, rather taxation can also be outsourced. Rather payroll activities can also be outsourced. So everything can be outsourced. But today, since the topic is mostly for PPO on accounting shared services, so we'll be speaking on that. So it is very much relevant due to we all know due to the cost effectiveness. Let's say if one of our counterparts, like let's say one of our
also supposed to look at us.
yes,
हाँ.
we acknowledge
Screen
we,
में ज़्यादा screen पे
we,
देखें.
we hereby acknowledge the presence of our president here, Rahul Rungta. Thank you. So
you can turn one camera towards that size so that we understand that there are people listening to you there physically also.
okay. Okay, Bhaiya.
You don't sit in your office. You come here and then you will turn the camera.
So first of all, why we have to understand that why it is being so relevant here, because it is being relevant due to broadly cost effectiveness. Because क्या हो रहा है ना कि आज हमारे कोई fellow member, आज हमारे के counterparts in other side of the country, in other side of the globe, rather let's say Australia or US or UK, वो लोग वहाँ पे accounting का काम कर रहे हैं. They are doing their work.
We have somebody called N. Bhaskar Rao, so I'm not sure that will he be comfortable listening to you in Hindi. NB Bhaskar.
Okay. So we'll be continuing in English only. Okay, fine.
Anyways, we're talking about GCC.
Or
GSS. Everything in English.
So since English is a global language, so we'll be sticking to English only for
English,
today's
sir.
seminar.
So it's not an issue in Hindi or English.
चलेगा
No,
सर?
I am very much comfortable in English, sir, as far as you are comfortable.
Yeah. I am comfortable in both.
Yeah. So first of all, this whole practice is cost centric, because अगर हमारे कोई fellow member अगर other side of the globe में कर रहे हैं, so they are also doing the same assignment, but as let's say as today we have to file a return, or today we have to do a bookkeeping in, let's say, in India. So what is mostly required? Two things are broadly required. One is the manpower, and one is the talent, right? So when in India, what we can provide to others is the better talent at a lower cost. So basically, the whole idea is to provide a better manpower at lower cost to our counterparts in other part of the globe. That is all about outsourcing. That is the only thing. And trust me, friends, I'll tell you that since I am doing this outsourcing assignment for last 2.5 years for only Australia now. We are looking forward to US also in next year. So as far as we are doing Australia, so one thing I have understood very clearly, that Indian talents are well accepted and well appreciated. So that I'm very confident, and that I'm very sure, based out of my experience, I can tell you, friends, that Indian quality is very much accepted out across the globe. The moment I say that I'm an Indian chartered accountant, they look at me with a very different kind of vision, as well as with a different kind of quality expectation. So accounting is a very great assignment. Rather, if we talk about, since we are talking about cost, that it is being benefited to them, because they are getting a better quality at a lower cost. If they will be employing the same kind of talent there in Australia or US, so they have to pay much higher. So and we know now that post COVID, where the whole of the globe has understood one thing, that things can be done remotely. This has been well accepted throughout the globe, that the majority of the assignments can be done remotely. So we are taking benefit out of this, and we have ensured our counterparts that we can deliver the quality at your lower cost. And trust me, friends, as we are comparing the fee structure of a normal bookkeeping assignment, fee structure of in Indian context, precisely in Calcutta, where I am sitting in. So because the fee structure in Calcutta is obviously, I think everybody would agree to me that the fee structure in Calcutta for a semi-skilled level of assignment is not that great. Hope I am speaking in the right context, because to me, as far as because I was practicing for last 12, 13 years. So what I have experienced is the fee structure in Calcutta for semi-skilled nature of assignment is not great. If it is true, then I would request participants to please write yes in the chat box. I will be waiting for next 10 seconds to wait to see that who are agreeing to. This will also ensure that who all are listening to this deliberation for the today. Yes, Nitesh. Got your reply. And who all are not replying, that means that they are getting a hefty amount of money for semi-skill nature of assignment also in Calcutta. Okay, we'll proceed. So, yes, Rinku, thank you. You have your message. So in sir has Bhaskar sir has charged fees as per time devoted, right, sir? So sir, that is what I was coming to it, that we are charging fees as per the time devoted, but for the same level of time, which we are devoting here in India, for let's say for filing of a return, we can easily get, sir, not less than, because I can only speak about Australian assignment. We can, sir, easily get 3x or 4x. You can easily get 3x or 4x of the revenue in context of the time. So there it is very much benefited. So it is always a win-win situation, because to them also it is a lower cost. To them also it is a cost-effective service, and their cost-effective price is to us in Calcutta is 3x 4x. So that way it is I think it does justice to the assignment. And sir, there is also one more benefit to it, one more advantage to it, sir. Like it is not always required that you have to switch from our Indian practice to get a KPO practice. We can also do the same kind of, we can also do it parallelly, which I was doing. Now I have dropped it, but I was doing it parallelly. So sir, what I believe that what I believe is that the same thing can be done to get a better revenue you can also have parallel kind of team setup. You can also, and so there I think, because I am doing it for last 2.5 years, semi-level graduate staff, a basic graduate staff with a basic expertise in accounts, but definitely he should be smart enough in English communication and as well as in mail etiquettes. So but those are.
How many openings do you have?
How many openings do I have? I'm looking for assignment.
Okay, sure. Can we send our CVs to you?
On a lighter note, yeah, but if you have some good candidates, please pass on to me. I'm really looking forward. Yeah, that will be too much expensive.
I'm sure a lot of people are here who will also be happy to take assignment from you.
So we can do it. If really somebody is interested, if any of the chartered firm is interested, or any of my friends are interested, we can do that. We can do that in collaboration. Like we have assignments, we can do that in collaboration. So that can be done. On a serious side, yes, that can be done. So I was coming to it, that what are the advantages and what are the bottlenecks? Because these are the two things which we normally evaluate in taking any decision. Because we have to take 2-3 things in consideration. Because when I was taking decision in this regard, whether do I have to switch to KPO practice or not, so there were 2-3 things in my mind. That what are the cost factors, what will be the revenue which I'll be getting out of it, for the time I'll be devoting, what are the bottlenecks and what are the advantages. Basically a SWOT analysis. So I had done a SWOT analysis in precise. So what I could understand, that the opportunities are huge because the market is global, and once you have started practice, once you have started experiencing, or once you have done, let's say, Australia or any country, first of all you have to also understand what are the major countries who outsource their assignments like this. So there are few countries, not much, there are few countries like who pay good. Like there are many other countries also who are doing their assignments or like who are outsourcing their assignments. But paymaster wise, US is a very good country. UK is a very good country. Australia is a very good country. Canada is a very good country. Who are outsourcing their assignment and who are a good paymaster. But at the same time, we also have to understand. Like I have also done a competitor analysis. Like who are the because since I will be getting assignments from them, so is India doing that assignment? Like what is the status of India across the globe? So India is there. Truly speaking, when I was speaking to CPAs out there in Australia, I could understand that Indian quality is definitely trusted more. But at the same time, Philippines is one such country who is doing a lot of assignments, who is taking a lot of accounting assignments on outsourcing model. So they are our strong competitor because they are doing assignments at a thrower price.
Okay. Their resources cheap.
Their resources,
Philippines
their resources are very cheap. They are doing assignments at a thrower price. Let's say 50% of our cost, 50% of our price which we quote normally. But still I would say when you speak to a foreign counterpart, when you explain their working model, when you explain everything in detail, so they get convinced. They get convinced, and rest it is up to you that how do you demonstrate and how do you take them in confidence. But I'll tell you, बोलते हैं ना अपने के शेर के मुंह में एक बार खून लग जाता है तो फिर वो शिकार करता ही करता है. So once they get the quality of an Indian chartered accountant, they don't shift to any other countries. They stick to Indian chartered accountant. They stick to Indian firm. That much confident I am about our Indian friends and about Indian fellow chartered accountants. So this is one thing. But the bottleneck is, but there are few bottlenecks also here. One such bottleneck in terms of getting a good manpower. Manpower, when I say that does not only mean that manpower in terms of knowledge, because basic graduate having a good acumen of having a little exposure in any 2-3 years of in CA or accounting firm can do justice to the assignment. But what lacks is basically in Calcutta, what I was getting a lack of it is the communication skill, the presentation skill, the email etiquettes. All those things are lacking a lot. I'll just share you one incident.
Thank you.
I'll just share you one incident. Because in India, normally what happens now that we are not so much tech savvy, or normally we are not so much good on mail etiquettes. So I had received one mail from a friend, because what happens is when you are into practice, when you are in regular assignment with any person, so it becomes a little friendly also. So one day I received a call from one of my Australian CPAs. He told Rahul, you don't know, your office staff does not know how to write a mail. I was shocked to hear this because the mail was sent by my senior employee. Okay. Because since it is a closed forum, so I don't have any issue while admitting.
But it is getting recorded.
It is getting recorded.
So
no, I'm careful. But still, I'll say I went through the mail thrice. I could not get a deficiency in the mail.
If there is anything wrong in the
If there is anything wrong in the mail. But again, at the same time, I was not being able to say also because he's understanding my staff has sent a mail and I'm not being able to figure out. But later on, I asked that I'm not getting what is wrong in the mail. There was a comma which was missing.
Oh, okay.
Like I had written a hierarchy, there should be a comma. The comma was not there. So they are particular to that extent. So getting a manpower who is so much particular about email etiquettes, corporate etiquettes, that becomes little challenging, definitely. But otherwise, knowledge-wise, we are okay. Knowledge-wise, there is no issue. There is one more bottleneck, which I could understand when I'm pitching for the assignments to any foreign counterparts. That is more like their data security. That remains a question all the times, and probably that if you fail to convince, so our assignments also don't turn up. Because always there is a concern that Rahul, what kind of security do you have in office? What kind of, like, let's say I'm sending, because they are very particular with their data, and they sue you for, because in the contracts also they mention very clearly that for any kind of data breach they can sue you. So there we have to be very careful. So and there is always, I think, 30% of the discussion moves around data security. Truly speaking, here 30% of the discussion moves around data security. And what kind of data security do we have in place? Whether do you have ISO certificate or not? Whether do you have USB disabled laptops or not? Whether what kind of IT infrastructure do we have? So these are major questions which we have to, obviously, which we have to have in our office also, and as well as we have to explain it in a right way so that we can get up the assignment. Otherwise, a third bottleneck, which is very important, like third bottleneck is always to get a right connect, because since we are sitting here in India, and we are pitching a client there in Australia, so there becomes a challenge, because every time to get an assignment, you cannot every time go to Australia and get an assignment. So obviously everybody is discussing on a virtual space, right? So obviously everybody is virtual. So obviously everybody is discussing, all the assignments and everything all the P's and Q's of the assignment are being discussed on the virtual note only. So there remains a challenge, that how do you take it forward? What kind of, because it is always, we always say in our corporate language, that once you are referred, you are preferred. So that becomes very important, that whether are you referred, because if you make a cold call, because like, whenever I go to any kind of seminar, or when I discuss that I've started this kind of practice, I've started KPO practice, so people always ask that how did you get your first client? Because scaling up is little easier, but to get a first client is always tough. Yeah. So that always remains a question. So very fortunately, I had a friend who is an Australian Indian chartered accountant, and who is an Australian CPA, who is practicing there for last 20 years. So I got it through them, and later on it started increasing due to some reference. But that is a catch there. That is a catch. That how do you get your first assignment? How do you, because once you don't get your first assignment, how do you multiply? Yes. Rather, how will you get the exposure also? Because getting an exposure is also important. So how do you get an exposure, or how do you get a first assignment? So there, I think, like normally what we do in India also, what we do in Calcutta also. If let's say if I am a very beginner, if I have just started my practice today, how do we get our first client? You have to go back 10 years back, or very initially your practice, that how did we used to get our first assignment? So obviously we used to call our friends, relatives. That is how keep some references. That is how it starts. Obviously, institute does not give you any client. Yeah. Just by virtue of your practice having COP, the institute does not give you any client. So how do we start our practice? How did we start our practice 10 years or 15 years or 20 years back, or whatsoever be the period of any member? So obviously we have called our relative friends. So there also we have to do the same way. But the comfort was that in Calcutta we could, or anywhere the city in which we are practicing, the comfort was that the person used to know me personally. Person could have approached us in office in person. He could have seen our infrastructure. He could have seen our background. But when we are approaching somebody in Australia or US or UK, sitting here in Calcutta or sitting here in India, so it becomes tough for them it becomes tough for them to have confidence on you, that you will be delivering to their expectations. And rather, as I mentioned earlier, that there are a lot of concerns with the data confidentiality. So how can they be confident that their data will not be breached, or it will be delivered in the right manner? So there comes the role of any person whom you know, or by any chance, let's say if I'm practicing let's say if I'm having Australian practice or Australian KPO practice. So it would be really great if you know someone in Australia, not necessarily in CPA domain. It could be other domain, because if let's say if an Indian businessman, if a businessman based out of Calcutta refers a chartered accountant to any person, so definitely that brings a confidence. So not necessarily that we have to, because but again I'll say to the limited knowledge I have, and based on the experience I have, our target client is always CPA, because it becomes for a beginner level of practitioner, who is having, let's say, who is just starting. So it becomes really very tough to serve a client who requires end-to-end service, because to serve a client who requires end-to-end service, there requires a lot of things, like you have to have a physical presence there. You have to have complete complete hold of the law and rules and regulations. So that is not always practical. So what I have felt over the years in last in my personal practice for last 1.5 years, that the base that the target client should be a CPA who requires you who is serving his or her clients there in the foreign country, and who can outsource a part of it, basically in the nature of bookkeeping, basically in the nature of let's say basically in the nature of bookkeeping, basically in the nature of payroll services they outsource. They also have outsourced to us, and what they outsource also is an admin nature of work. What is the admin nature of work again? That is also very good. For them, you can have a very basic level of staff. Admin nature of work, and that is very paying out as well. Admin nature of work is that you have to let's say you have to raise invoice for them.
Okay, invoice raising.
You have to raise invoice for them. You have to write 200 mails for them. They will give you a format. You have to write mails for them. You have to make a reconciliation for them. So that is a very admin level of work, because and the best part is that there the concept of payment. I'm sure a lot of participants who have joined must be aware of it. But for those who are not aware of it, in Calcutta we are used to get the payment on assignment basis. Like, how do we normally get the payment? Like, ITR file karna hai, I will be charging 10,000 rupees, or audit karna hai, I'll be charging 50,000 rupees, or whatever the case may. But there the payments are not on assignment basis. There the payments are on hourly basis. So what is the concept is that you have to submit a timesheet there, and in timesheet you have to mark. It is always very contractual that how much time will be devoted, by whom it will be devoted, because the category of staff has to be well defined. It will be semi-skilled level of staff, or unskilled, or not unskilled, semi-skilled or skilled level of staff, or any partner is engaging in that. So obviously rates are accordingly. So in Australia there is a software called Clockify. Clockify is a software where you maintain a timesheet, and based on the timesheet you charge your bill to the target client. You charge your bill to the CPA there. So there we have to be very particular. There always becomes a reason of dispute at the month end, that Rahul, you have charged us for let's say 2,000 hours, and the work was, because it is again very subjective.
Yes.
How will you define that an ITR can be filed in 3 hours or 5 hours?
Yes, some bare minimum time should be there, na?
Some bare minimum time should be there, but it becomes a region of reconciliation always.
Okay.
Because you cannot, how will you certify? Because let's say in our office, if there are 2 manpower, so there could be a possibility that one will be filing in 3 hours, one will be filing in 3.5 years.
Exactly.
So that is always very subjective. It is not always how will you predefine it? So that is one part, but again barring that also, it is very good, and I will really encourage everyone to at least test their hands in foreign practice. Not necessarily you have to switch out of your Indian practice and go to foreign practice. It can be done parallelly. Legal ways have to be found out that how it can be done, but it is very much doable. So bottleneck always remains staffing. Staffing not in terms of knowledge, but rather in terms of corporate etiquettes, which becomes difficult to get, but in Calcutta, but we get it. So what we have done, because I can share my experience with you. What we have done is, like, we have opened an office in Surat for that. So because here remains a challenge that when you getting that kind of staff becomes difficult. So we have opened an office in Surat. So that has helped me. That has helped us in multiple ways. How I'll tell you. I'll come to it. Because since Surat, Rajkot, all these areas are tier 2 cities, but they have good quality manpower because those are outsourcing hub in today's world. So there is there to get a staff because in Calcutta, if you will interview 50 people, hardly you will get anyone who will be having exposure of K people. So you have to teach them from scratch. But or probably they lack this kind of corporate ethics in the salary range which we expect. Obviously, salary range matters a lot, but in the salary range what we expect, so these things lack. So in Surat, Rajkot, tier 2 cities, so this also helps us in certain ways to generate employment in tier 2 cities because tier 1 cities तो ठीक है वहाँ पे तो people are there.
Yeah.
हाँ भैया, you
Yeah,
were saying-
but in tier 2 city, I suppose we will get the good resources at a minimum cost. So
Right.
our cost will reduce
Our cost
and
will-
we can give a competitive rate also if required.
Definitely, we can give a competitive rate and quality also because you have to also identify which tier 2 city.
Yeah.
Not every tier tier 2 city is capable enough of generating good resource at a competitive rate. But yes, we have certain cities in India which are tier 2 cities wherein they have lower salary expectation and they are well versed with this kind of practices. So that area can also be explored with this. And furthermore, there are many people who ask me all the time that my experience so far, although it's very small experience, but my experience so far. So I'm very confident to say that my experience so far is very good. Is very good in foreign practice. First of all, there are many people, there are many fellow members also who have asked me this thing that Rahul, वहाँ का तो there तो tax laws would be different. Rahul, there तो system would be different. So I'll tell you very frankly that debit will be debited, credit will be created. That is the fundamental
Of accounts.
That is the fundamental, and we as a chartered accountant, we are very, very, very competent in accounting language. So there lies no bottleneck to that. It is really very, very, very easy. The whole practice, the whole things are same. Only the terminologies are different. Possibly the way of doing is different.
Yeah.
Possibly the software is different. Like in India, we are doing let's say majority of the small and medium practitioners or small and medium business houses also maintain their books in Tally.
Yeah, most of the
accounts are being maintained in Tally. But don't we have SAP? Don't we have other softwares? We have a lot of softwares. We have Muni. We have a lot of other softwares to name in India. So if you get a client in Calcutta who are maintaining their accounts on, let's say a different software, let's say SAP or let's say Muni or let's say any other software, so will we reject that assignment? No, we will be doing that only because the software is different. Do we reject? No, because what we have to do, we have to learn the assignment. We have to learn the software. That's it. And how do we learn the software? Because we know the basics of the accounting. We know the fundamentals of the accounting. We know if there is a cash receipt entry, it will be debited. So obviously somewhere it will be debited. Possibly not in the Tally format, in other format. So if we have the same set of mind in Australia, so there the software the famously used softwares are Xero, XERO. XERO, Xero. They call it Xero. MYOB, MYOB. QuickBook is very much rampantly used there. But like we have more of the Tally in India, they have more of Xero and MYOB in Australia. Because that is the base level software which is majorly used by practitioners as well as small and medium corporate houses. So it took me only, trust me friends, it took me only 2 days of time to understand the entire Xero and MYOB. Only 2 days of time. Because the concept is clear, because to the extent of knowledge there is no question. So only thing which has to be understood is the flow of the data. If you are punching an entry, how it is being reported, how the reports are coming out. Obviously, that kind of acumen we have. So it took only 2 days to understand the entire software, and it is very easy. So we have to educate ourselves to that, to the software learnings, and we have to make our staffs also educate to that. So normally, if you have staff from literally tech background, when I say tech background, they don't need to know coding. Coding is not required. But when we say tech background, that means ki, obviously we know that there are few people who take 3 months of time to understand that, and there are few smarter guys who can understand it in 10 days. So
Yeah, how software will operate,
How
where
software
from
will-
we can extract the report, and all these things he should learn.
right. So those kind of basic software understanding should be there. And nowadays this Gen Z and this millennial boys which are coming, they are very smart with that. So we don't have to teach much. We just have to show them the way, and they take it forward. So so software is one part which is very important. Mail etiquettes and language is one more thing, because many times it so happens that your foreign counterpart asks that who has done the assignments, so they take them on call. Because if let's say if I have 20 people in my office and everybody has contributed to it, so there will be a team leader who will be delivering the assignment. So many times, possibly all the time, it is not possible for you as a partner to come on the call and to explain the entire working. How will you explain? Because even in Calcutta, even in our practice, if some clients comes in and says that how have you done? So not all the time you only come. You bring the staff member also. So sit in front of him and you ask him, Mohan, you explain. So there also it comes. So that kind of things we have to be careful, that that the staff you hire should be smart enough to explain their assignments in English. So that is the basic, because English is the language there. So you have to make them understand, because because I have an experience that I have asked my staff to explain the assignment, and he got nervous. He got blank. Okay. Literally on the call, it was so embarrassing, because but that was a very earlier year of assignment for me. So it was very challenging that time, because you're having somebody on a call, and a person who is Aussie. He's not understanding anything other than English, and he's asking you to explain, and this staff is stammering, not explaining in proper English, not planning in the language which is required. So it becomes difficult. So that should be the I think care which we should take off, which we should take. But still, I would say there are huge opportunities, there are huge potential. Multiple countries can be explored. I have chosen Australia because there is a time gap of 4.5 hours only. US, there is a time gap of around 12 hours, so it becomes a little difficult to operate with US. But again, it again depends on the time of the kind of contract which you have, because there are many practitioners. Because I know many friends who are having a contract that they will be working in their Indian time. They will be delivering in their. They will be working in their Indian time. Okay. So they have received an assignment from US. They have they have received in India in overnight, because because night in India is morning is daytime in US. Yeah. So they have passed on the assignment in India, passed on to the Indian office. So we have received in morning. We have worked on the assignment. So they are sleeping. So the moment we are delivering, so it is all in tandem, that how do you take up, because in Australia we have a contract that we will be working more or less as per their accounting office. So we say that you can treat us as your extended office, because there is a gap of 4.5 hours. So we basically log in at 6:30 and we work till 4:35. So basically we match with the Australian time zone. So, but that is only possible because we have Australian gap of 4.5 hours. But if somebody is trying to explore the opportunity in US, so possibly that would be 12 hours gap. So becomes a little difficult in that scenario. So those were the things, charges. So now I would. So I think it has become a seminar kind of format only.
Yeah, everyone are requested they can raise their query and ask Rahul ji to anything which is related to outsourcing, how they will get the opportunity. What are the challenges, if anything required, so that group discussion would be fruitful.
Anybody having any question or anything regarding to that? So we'll take up some questions, then we'll proceed it forward. To our deliberation.
Yes, Rahulji.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes.
If I want to come and meet you, like, how do I do that?
You are from Calcutta itself?
Yes, I'm from Kolkata.
Okay, so my office address will be shared by shared in the flyer. So my office address is shared in the flyer only.
Okay.
So you can come and meet.
Your contact number is there?
My contact number is not there, but will be shared. Or you can
Yeah, we will share in the chat.
or I'm just sharing it in the chat. I'm just sharing in the chat.
Share in the chat.
Okay, that will be great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I have shared in the chat, so you can call me anytime now. So you can come and we can have a great discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So anybody else who need any kind of Nitesh ji, I Rahul, I just wanted to ask how to get the first opportunity. I will discuss briefly in case if you don't have a connect up problem.
Yeah.
So Nitesh, I think I'm just coming to your query. I think there could be one possibility. I don't know how much fruitful it would be. If you don't have any contacts, so at least we have our CA Institute abroad. Nitesh, hope you're listening.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
you're audible. Thank you so much.
So we should take pride in the matter that we are associated with such an organization or such a fraternity which has its presence across the globe. So
Very true.
So
Very
we can, so we have like as I mentioned that I'm practicing like I'm having my assignment in Australia. So our CA Institute has its presence in Melbourne and Sydney both.
27 participant है मेरा
So we can take help of our members there. Rather, I would one more thing I'll take you forward to Nitesh is like LinkedIn is a very great opportunity.
Okay.
We should be we should be well versed with LinkedIn. If you are available on LinkedIn or if you explore LinkedIn, you will find that some or the other way around you will get some or the other connect. So LinkedIn can be a very strong tool. I have personally experienced it. It's a very great tool to connect at a place where you don't know someone. Because LinkedIn mostly, because Facebook and all other platforms are not worth it. But in LinkedIn, you can like what I have done. Like I have subscribed to ICI Melbourne and ICI Sydney.
ऐसा नहीं है
Okay.
So once I have subscribed to ICI Melbourne and ICI Sydney, so what the best part was that I got the connects of all the members out there in LinkedIn, Sydney and Melbourne. So from there you can connect and there you can discuss the potential synergies which in any way could help you. So, but that way it can be addressed.
Thank you so much. Actually, I tried previously like some freelancing websites also, but that didn't really help me much. So just wanted to know.
Right, there are a few freelancing websites. I think I don't know which one you have tried, like Fiverr or like Upwork.
Upwork, yeah, I tried with the Upwork.
Upwork, but that will not work much because Upwork, because like see again, which I have told you earlier now, that once you are referred, you are preferred. So from Upwork, how will anybody be setting your credential?
Correct.
So because Upwork is a freelancing website, they can you just have to list yourself there and you can expect work. But that can happen that can happen for a very semi-skilled nature of assignment, like for don't take it offensive, but for like plumbing, all those like urban club which we have. As today, if I'll tell you that let's say Nitesh, will you be getting your ITR or filing done or audit done from a random person from urban club?
No, I won't take that chance.
You will not take that chance. So how can you expect that a person from a foreign country can take that chance?
Correct.
So once let's say like as I mentioned, if you don't have a connect in any foreign country, so if you are being
Right.
referred by any of the member there in Australia or any of the member there in so there you will have a better chance of conversion. You
Sure.
have to have a common connect. So LinkedIn can work. Can work amazing. We have multiple. We have MRAs with multiple countries. ICI has MRA with multiple countries. So there, that way it can be helped. So that way can be taken.
Thank you so much for your guidance.
Most welcome.
I'm basically from Siliguri. Yeah.
Okay, you're from Siliguri. Okay.
Right.
Last year I visited.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
I have your
So
number
now
just in
there
case.
is one question also
Yes.
from Ravi sir. Which software training basically we need to pitch the client?
Which software for foreign country?
Yeah.
For the foreign. For the foreign country software, like in Australian context,
No, in Australia and USA, what kind of basic software?
Zoho and QuickBook.
Zoho and
QuickBooks are very widely acceptable
all over the world.
all over the world globally. Because Xero and QuickBook, Xero and Mayo, what I am saying is this is widely acceptable in Australia. But again, in a global parlance, if we say, so Zoho and QuickBooks are a very acceptable softwares. And the methodology is also very clear. You just have to upload few documents, and the AI is working so immensely great that the things are being being done amazingly. So these are the two softwares which can be done. Rajiv, I'm coming to you. How do the very initial or first pitch into your prospective client, where to search the prospective clients? So Rajiv, I think the reply to Nitesh ji has also served your query. The first prospective client can be either through your common connect or through the LinkedIn or you can take help of any ICI chapters abroad. So that way it can be done. Nitesh ji. Yes. So I think.
Yeah, proceed further, Rahul, and tell what are the challenges which we should take care, and everyone how they can connect after connecting. What kind of challenges they have to meet? Yeah, and what are the resolutions for this end?
Very very good question, Pankaj Bhaiya, you have taken up. So I'll tell you very frankly that there are no as such major challenges, which we always say. मैं always ये believe करता हूँ कि मानव जब जोर लगाता है पत्थर पानी बन जाता है. So,
but how we take the confidentiality of data, how they can rely on us, what are the basic parameters which we have to
adhere.
Yeah, we have to adhere so that they can tell us, yeah, you are complying with our norms.
So there are a few basic things which we have to consider while pitching in our pitching only, so that their confidence in us increases. So the very first thing is ISO. ISO plays amazing role. If you don't have ISO, the chances of conversion will be technically zero.
If a CA firm, from CA firm perspective, if a CA firm which is running by a proprietor, having 4 or 5 employees, whether they should get their ISO certification?
If they are, because in our Indian practice it is not required.
Yeah.
But if they are,
from the global practice,
but from the global perspective, definitely 100% you should.
Okay.
Because the whole idea is that they are seeing you only physically. Sorry, they are seeing you only virtually.
Okay.
So ISO, like today, if you I'll just tell you one thing. If today I have I keep 2 food packets in front of you. One is FSSAI marked, one is non-FSSAI marked.
Yeah.
Which one would you choose first?
FSSAI.
If you don't know the manufacturer in person,
yes,
there could be a possibility that the package which is non-FSSAI marked could be a better product.
Yeah,
there could be a possibility, and in compared to the product which is FSSAI marked, there could also be a possibility that you personally know the manufacturer of a person who has this packet with non-FSSAI, but wherein you have a very great trust on him. You will, so if you really know that, if you really know the background, then possibly you will pick up non-FSSAI product. But if other factors are constrained, so given two options, one is FSSAI marked, one is non-FSSAI marked, whom will you choose? Definitely you will choose FSSAI. That is the role of the ISO certificate. It is a quality hallmark.
Then first we have to take ISO certificate.
100%. You have to take ISO certificate. Then I will not advocate much on this, but again it plays a role. It plays a role because it plays a role that you have to have a good website.
Okay.
Because we have to understand one thing, that they are not seeing you, because the whole idea revolves around you have to showcase your quality. How will you showcase your quality without meeting a person? If let's say if somebody comes to me for an assignment, so how will, and he is not coming in person, so how will I see him or her? I will see him or her only by way of his virtual presence. That could be by way of his website.
Yeah.
That could be by way of his brochures. That could be by way of his any testimonial from any client, mouth reference. So we have to use all these gimmicks. So your website is never a closed. Your website is never a closed deal, but it opens the door. Your website, if you have a good website, if you can plot it well. When I say, it has to have a good testimonial. You have to showcase your services well. If you have showcased your services well, if you have some good testimonials, so definitely I believe that can be of help. So like we all are chartered accountants, we understand that to come to a conclusion, we take up all the corroborative evidences.
Yeah.
We just don't come to a conclusion. We calculate all the corroborative evidences, and if all of them are in sync, then only we come to a conclusion, right? So if all agree, so I would request yes in the chat box that don't we look up at all the corroborative evidences to come to a conclusion. So if it is yes, so today we are expecting an assignment from our foreign chartered accountant. So definitely they will be also judging us on multiple parameters wherein we are not present.
Yeah.
So definitely so having a good website, having a good knowledge of the having a good knowledge of the accounting softwares being worked there, having a good knowledge of the terminology there. So there could again be one question, that if you don't get the assignment, how can we accustomed with the terminology and the terminology or their working style? So for that, I'll tell you, there are a lot of YouTube things wherein if you log in the YouTube, if you just write Australian KPO, so a lot of things will come up. Again, because I'm insisting much on Australia because I have Australian experience. Like in India, we have income tax office, like income tax website. So if you definitely scroll up the income tax website, so you will know little about website. So in Australia, again, you have ATO, Australian Tax Office. There is a website called ATO.
Okay.
So once you scroll up ATO, you will get to know things. So if you have a beginning, if you are just starting, so definitely you have to have these things in your these things handy, because obviously if you are speaking to any of the foreign client, foreign Australians or any foreign CPA, and you are expecting an assignment, if you don't know that, for example, if somebody comes to us from, let's say, US, and he says that, Rahul, I want to do your TDS filings, and he does not know the word TDS itself. Probably there they are using something different. Like in Australia, they call it PAYG, pay as you go. So TDS is being termed as PAYG in Australia. So obviously they don't know the word TDS. If they want to seek an assignment from me in Calcutta, and if they say I will be filing your PAYG, I'll say, ye kya hua? So if you don't know term only, how will you file? Or
Same thing but different terminology.
same, so we have to get ourselves accustomed to those terminology also. So their YouTube channels will help, or possibly if anybody who is practicing in that domain, a little consultation with them could help. So that kind of thing, obviously little homework has to be done, because obviously bluntly we cannot make a call to any of my friend who is residing in Australia that I want to get an assignment. He has connected me to some Australian CPA. And there we are not explaining, because basic terms, so we know fundamentals are okay, but basic things also have to be in place to have a conversation at least. So there YouTube plays a role, or anybody practicing in that domain, having a consultation with them will help. So these kind of things will help.
Is professional indemnity is mandatory?
Professional indemnity should be done.
Should be done.
Should be done because see, I have not done yet.
Okay.
But it should be done because see, their professional indemnity is done to ensure the clerical issue.
Yeah.
To any kind of loss or any kind of professional, any kind of damage out of a clerical error.
Whether our insurance companies cover the outsourcing?
They cover.
They cover.
They cover.
Actually, there, I suppose in outsourcing, they charge very high amount if there is any breach.
They charge
of the confidentiality and any
very high.
mistake
Very
we
high.
have done.
Very high. Very high.
So professional indemnity will cover this.
Professional indemnity will cover this, and it should be done. It should be done. Professional indemnity should be done. Rajiv has also asked one question that do the ICI chapter abroad will really help? Yes, Rajiv, I can assure you that it helps. Provided you approach the right connect, it helps. I'm very sure it helps because I personally have experience with this, so it helps. Again, the whole idea is that the way you are approaching, because once you are approaching any ICI chapter, so they will be only referring once your credentials are well set, because otherwise they will not refer. Because one thing we have to really understand here, that why don't somebody refer, or why do somebody refer? Somebody will, when a person, when let's say if I am referring to someone now, so trust me, my goodwill is more at stake. So I think it helps, but only when because random, if you call someone, so possibly it might not help also. But again, it may help also if you can convince him, if you can convince the ICA chapter member there that right, you can do justice to the assignment, or you have well set credential here in India. So that is up to you. That is up to the person who is pitching, but it helps. Shubham, sorry, I saw your message late. Shubham, sorry, just joined late, and if you have already answered this, but would like to know what kind of work should we pitch: bookkeeping, return filing, MIS reporting, and what size clients should we target? Thanks. Yes, Shubham. So I think it all depends that how are you starting. But for a beginner level, I would say we should start with bookkeeping, because bookkeeping is something which can be done with the basic level of knowledge which we have. There we don't require extensive knowledge, and we know that once we are through with bookkeeping of any practice, so everything becomes easier, because definitely you will not be allowed to file return in any of the other countries until unless you have a COP there, because in Australia there is a concept of tax agent. So if you are not an enrolled tax agent, you will not be allowed to lodge ITN. So what can be done is but this is the way we started. We have started with only bookkeeping assignment. So once we were through with the bookkeeping, so basically what happens that you are aware of all the terminologies, you are aware of all the data flow, you are aware of all kind of softwares and all those things. So once you and your office are equipped with these kind of things, the basic understanding develops, then you can pitch for return filing as well. Because in return filing, what maximum is being allowed is you have to if I correlate this with Indian practice, so putting the data from Tally to ITR, feeding into ITR, let's say ITR 5, 6, 3, 4, whatever the case be. So once you have a proper knowledge of the accounting, then only you will be able to know that which section to be filled from this section of Tally, or from this section of any other accounting package. So I think bookkeeping would be a better idea to pitch, because that is more convertible. If you start pitching for return filing, being a very beginner, so probably the chances of conversion would be very low, rather negligible. And size of client which we should target is mostly medium, small and medium size of clients, because I think will not be able to if we are a beginner, so will not be able to serve larger clients, because they have much more complexities with them. So what will happen that the trust will break. So once the trust will break now, so you'll be earning a bad name. So that will hinder you from that will hinder you from from getting further assignments. So like to my knowledge, the best idea is start with small clients, start with bookkeeping assignments, so that you set your foot right in the country which you want to practice, get a good testimonial, and with that you can start gradually. But again, I'll tell you that is also good pain. So so you'll not have to wonder that, you will not have to worry about that. So if you are targeting small clients or bookkeeping, it is paying good.
Yeah, suppose Akshay has one question.
Yes, Akshay. Yes, Akshay, please tell me.
Yeah, hello Rahul Bhaiya. Actually, I have a
Yes.
question. I want to
Yes.
ask, can you throw some light on EA?
Sorry.
Can you throw some light on EA? And
EA.
how is it different? Yes, and how is it different from CPA?
Okay, CA and CPA. Okay, this is what you are saying. Matlab you, I think you are asking difference between CA and CPA, right?
No, no, Bhaiya. I'm asking you a difference between an enrolled agent and a CPA.
Okay, enrolled agent and CPA. Okay, there is the.
Yes.
I think I don't know whether you are aware or not. Very around 2012-13, our institute has recognized one program called TRP. Our income tax has recognized one program called TRP, Tax Return Preparer.
Yeah, still it is there. Yeah,
it is still
Yes,
there.
yes.
Okay, so what happens with the TRP and the CA? The TRPs have limited knowledge and they have limited access. They cannot do audit, rather they can file returns, right? TRPs cannot do audit, they can file returns. They are allowed to file returns.
Mm-hmm.
So likewise, enrolled agents and CPAs. CPAs are full-fledged practitioners, and enrolled agents have limited access in filing returns and certain other functions.
Okay.
They are not allowed to. Enrolled agents are not allowed to offer assurance services. Rather, they are allowed to file returns, lodge returns. So, like suppose if we file returns through TRP, so a unique.
So is it
right? Please.
So is it recommended that we should do the foreign accounting related work or something if we have an enrolled agent?
We can, definitely it can be done. Definitely, if you have done EA, basically EA, it is called EA there, enrolled agent.
Yes.
So you are allowed to lodge returns if you have that knowledge, and if you have assignment in your hand, you can go ahead and do that.
It will be beneficial for us because only अगर अपने EA नहीं करते हैं भैया, अगर normally if we are not enrolled agent, then I think we will not be able to we are not required, we are not able to file the federal tax returns of US and all. US, UK, इसमें अपने शायद return नहीं file कर सकते until unless we are enrolled agent. ऐसा कुछ है क्या?
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you please come again? Your voice got broke.
मैं actually ये बोल रहा था कि I have gone through some articles where I came to know that until and unless we are an enrolled agent, we will not be able to file any federal tax returns. मैंने अपने कोई भी बाहर की टैक्स रिटर्न्स फाइल नहीं कर सकते हैं, और अकाउंटिंग वगैरह का काम जो है थोड़ा बहुत, जैसे बुक कीपिंग है, अकाउंटिंग है, और भी बहुत सारा ट्रांसक्रिप्शन वगैरह का काम रहता है, वो सब अपने कर सकते हैं मैंने विदाउट द डिग्री ऑफ EA.
Right, without having I got your question. Okay, so definitely you can do all the assignments. You can do bookkeeping level of assignments. You can feed the data in the software, but you will not be allowed to lodge. You will not be allowed to file return until you are either CPA or EA.
Correct.
And once you are enrolled agent, you will be allowed to file return from your ID, because in India what happens is anybody can file return. But their return in order to file return with any kind of statutory authority or any of the department, you have to file it through either client ID or through enrolled agent ID. So that stops everybody to file return. So that is one part. And in order to offer assurance services, you have to be a full-time CPA.
उसके लिए CPA चाहिए, हाँ, full-time CPA. अच्छा, एक भैया एक question और था, one small question regarding GST.
Right.
ये मैंने एनरोल मैंने अकाउंटिंग से रिलेटेड ही है। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने अगर यूएस में कोई सर्विस दी है, ठीक है,
Right.
सो नाउ इट इज व्हाट इट इज एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस। सिंस इट
Right.
इज एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस, अपने को क्या करना पड़ता है एज पर जीएसटी, एक तो एलयूटी बॉन्ड लेना पड़ेगा एंड वी कैन सप्लाई आवर सर्विसेज एट 0 रेट।
Right.
परफेक्ट है। अपना जीएसटी नंबर लिया हुआ है, वी हैव अ जीएसटी नंबर, वी आर चार्जिंग 18% फॉर डोमेस्टिक कस्टमर्स, फॉर डोमेस्टिक क्लाइंट्स, एंड फॉर सपोज फॉर यूके क्लाइंट्स या यूएस या ऑस्ट्रेलियन क्लाइंट्स वी आर नॉट चार्जिंग एनी जीएसटी।
Right.
ठीक है, अब वो 0 रेट पे जा रहा है। अब व्हाट टेक्निकली व्हाट वी हैव टू डू इज, अपने को अपना जो अनयूटिलाइज्ड जो जीएसटी है दैट वी कैन टेक रिफंड एज
Right.
पर RFD 01A फाइल करके अपने रिफंड ले सकते हैं।
Right.
ठीक है, लेकिन मैंने प्रैक्टिकली मेरे को ये लगता है कि मतलब प्रैक्टिकली हम लोग कभी वो सोच रहे थे कि है ना, अभी उसमें जीएसटी RFD 01A फाइल करने में बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम है, क्योंकि वहाँ के BRC वगैरह भी अपने को सबमिट करना पड़ेगा और है ना सारे इनवॉइसेस वगैरह भी दिखाने पड़ेंगे। तो अगर अपने उसमें रिफंड क्लेम नहीं करते हैं फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ठीक है, तो उसमें तो कोई इशू नहीं है ना जीएसटी में, अगर आप
कोई
इसमें
issue
कुछ
नहीं,
लाइट
हाँ,
दे पाए।
कोई इशू नहीं है,
मैंने
कोई
मेरे को
issue नहीं।
रिफंड क्लेम ही नहीं करना, अपने तो जितना जीएसटी लग रहा है अपने सारा खर्चा हो गया। फॉर एग्जांपल वी आर नॉट क्लेमिंग इनपुट, जैसे कि मेरा अगर डोमेस्टिक क्लाइंट भी नहीं है फॉर एग्जांपल, तो 18% पे अपने जीएसटी नहीं बिल कर रहे हैं, लेकिन अपने जो सर्विस ले रहे हैं बहुत सारे अपने जीएसटी लग रहे हैं 18%, तो आई डोंट वांट टू क्लेम एनी, कोई जीएसटी इनपुट लेना ही नहीं है मेरे को, तो वो अपने खर्चा में दिखा दे रहे हैं। तो टेक्निकली कहीं पे एज पर लॉ कहीं पे नॉन कंप्लायंस है क्या? जस्ट वांटेड टू नो दैट।
See, the whole idea is what is GST law revolves around is mostly about ITC availment. So
Yes.
as long as you are not, because what will happen that you cannot avail input against the services which is non taxable or exempt, right?
Not taxable. Perfect.
That is the basic understanding of the GST law. So once you
Correct.
so if you are not utilizing or availing any GST input, so so there is no issue as such. There is no issue as such.
तो जीएसटी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से अपने सेफ है, अपने कोई रिफंड क्लेम नहीं कर, वी आर नॉट क्लेमिंग एनी रिफंड, तो उसमें वो कुछ बोलेगा नहीं कि आपने क्लेम किया कि क्यों नहीं किया अपने, वी आर नॉट अवेलिंग दैट आईटीसी।
That's what I'm saying. If you're not
इनकम
availing,
टैक्स में अगर इनकम टैक्स में वो आ जाइए, ऐसा तो नहीं कि इनकम टैक्स में वो खर्चा डिसअलाउ कर देगा, क्योंकि अपने वो पीएल में डेबिट कर रहे हैं इनएलिजिबल आईटीसी बोल के, तो
हाँ,
वो अपने इनकम टैक्स में तो डिसअलाउ नहीं हो जाएगा।
अपने पीएल में डेफिनेटली डेबिट तो करेंगे, बट एक्चुअली हम तो व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज वी आर कंप्लाइंग विद द जीएसटी लॉ बिकॉज़ वी आर नॉट अवेलिंग इनपुट।
करेक्ट।
We are not availing input. That means our output is very much legitimate, because but you have to show in because when you will file return there is an option of export of services. So you have to
Yes.
you have to show that invoice in that column in export of services in GST 3. In GST 3G. So your GST is well compliant in that. You are not utilizing input. So you are not filing RFD1. So there is completely okay. Now let's come to income tax. So in income tax, since that input is not being availed, so you can claim it in PL, because income tax में अपना accounting क्या बोलता है? Our accounting says only one thing: either you claim it as an input or you show it as an expense. Like for example, section 17(5). What happened in 17(5)?
ब्लॉक क्रेडिट में जो है अपने तो क्लेम कर, उसमें तो इनपुट ले ही नहीं रहे, अपने पीएल में क्लेम कर ले रहे हैं। ठीक है।
Exactly. So that is what will prevail here also. That any input which I am not claiming can be debited to PL. So it is in the same line with 17(5).
Okay.
ठीक है ना, थैंक यू सो मच भैया, थैंक यू।
Rahul, one thing I want to ask you.
Yes.
कि मान लो जैसे आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया में कर रहे हो, कोई दुबई कर रहा है, कोई फिलीपींस कर रहा है, कोई व्हाटएवर कंट्री, तो आप लोग टैक्स इश्यूज नहीं आते, मतलब वहाँ के टैक्स लॉज अलग होंगे। आज अपने इंडियन का पढ़े, आज से इंडियन की प्रैक्टिस की है, तो अपने जीएसटी इनकम टैक्स में मास्टर है जो भी, और वहाँ के टैक्स लॉज अलग है, तो वो क्लैश नहीं करता दिमाग में।
हाँ, that is what I had spoken this about earlier. What is KP all about? KP is about outsourcing activity. So what we should attempt is, like, we should always go for same skill level of assignment, accounting assignment. We should restrict ourselves to that. If we don't have that extension,
but से कि आपने अपने बिलिसू का काम मान लिया, तो बिलिसू तो जीएसटी है, कंप्लायंस है, कैलकुलेशन शीट्स है, इंडिया के अलग होंगे, आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया के अलग होगा।
नहीं, I tell you again, मतलब it broadly is in line. So नहीं दिख रहा,
क्लास नहीं होता,
clash नहीं होता. It is broadly in line. Like the issue raised by Akshay, it is almost the same issue in Australia as well. It is only the difference in the terminology. Like I was just saying, in India we call it TDS, there we call it PAYT, pay as you go.
तो what are the rates and ये सब सॉफ्टवेयर से पता लग
Rate
जाता
of
है.
software पता चलता है. You have to just scroll the website, you will get the rates. And there is one more advantage why I was insisting much on not not serving to clients directly, rather to get in sync with to CPA. You will be getting their knowledge as well. You will be getting their mentoring as well.
Yeah.
So that way it will help much.
So basically तो अपने को डायरेक्ट क्लाइंट को पिच नहीं करना चाहिए जीसीसी के जो केपी हो गया थ्रू वहाँ के लोकल चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स या सीपीए जो सीएफए या टैक्स प्रोफेशनल्स उनके थ्रू ही जाना चाहिए एसीसीए.
Because there are two advantages. One advantage is that you will get bulk assignment. अपने
एंड इसमें फायदा और भी है, कोई आपको चेक कर रहा है,
कोई चेक करे, they make a check a concept. Because obviously if you are working in a foreign domain, you cannot be very sure about the tax law. Because
I'm not
you cannot
profession for the India only.
You cannot be. You cannot be. So we should restrict ourselves to bookkeeping, and typically I'm saying in this forum also, typically big fours are also doing same level one. Big
For
fours,
the big clients only.
I'll tell you what PwC is doing or any other big fours are doing. They are having like if they get any assignment, like a big assignment from Australia or US, they have a PwC in that country. So the Indian PwC is getting assignment from not from the client. He is getting assignment from the PwC in abroad. So technically, with the huge setup over in India, with a huge setup of PwC in India, they are not delivering tax law. They are not opinion on tax law. They are not going into that because not practically possible.
In India, we don't know how to tackle US taxes.
It's a dynamic thing, it will not happen. So we should always work in tandem with CPA. There we will get bulk assignments also, and the chances of getting litigation also will be lower because litigation cost is very high and it is very prone to get litigated there. So hope it's been addressed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Rahul, there is one message in chat box.
can you please Shubham, okay, can you please share more about your journey, like when you began and if there is enough opportunities for someone who starts today? Shubham, I got your answer. I think I have discussed much about it earlier, but still to brief you, I'll tell you, I started my journey, I was very blessed and fortunate enough because one of my friends who is an Indian chartered accountant, he happened to be an Australian CPA for last 20 years. And we were having his professional assignments, like for audit and bookkeeping assignments in India for his Indian business. So that way we were sitting on cross table, and incidentally asked that why don't you, like, is there any opportunity for me to travel Australia? So he told, traveling I cannot ensure, but I can. We are outsourcing all our assignments to Philippines. So if you'll be interested, we can try that. So that way it started. So it all started very good and very coincidentally. Otherwise, truly speaking, there was not in my remote senses also that I'll be taking up Australian assignment or anything like that. But once I started feeling that it's really worth of it, and as it happens, like once you get one client, so and if you served him good or if you served him well, so I started getting multiple assignments from him only over the period of time. Once we could start serving him properly. So initially he has become our mentor also, and as well as he guided us properly, like what are the assignments and what can be taken up forward there. And post that, we got multiple assignments from him, and rather we started we got multiple CPAs there in our assignment. So to me, it started like that. But honestly, I understand that it is not possibly it's not that all the time it will work for everyone. So that is why I mentioned that you can explore LinkedIn, or you can explore other opportunities, or you can explore any common connects if you have there. So that is one thing. And opportunity wise, if you start today, definitely there are a lot of opportunities. So it should be tried once. It is a very to me, I'll always say that it should be done. So, any more questions if you can have?
Any questions from anyone? I suppose Rahul, you have cleared all the queries.
I was not there in between, but I'm not sure ki this has been asked or not. Ki how did you got your first client?
Yeah, Sumit, he has already answered.
Okay, so
I already answered this, but since you asked, so I'll just tell you in one liner that I got my first client by the blessing of God, because he happened to be my friend also, and he happened to be my client also for a long time. He's an Indian chartered accountant and Australian CPA for last 20 years, so that's why it converted to me.
We have to increase our network then.
You have to increase your network there, right? Definitely. And if somebody is not having, so LinkedIn can work as a miracle.
You have to check your connector who are residing outside India.
So start scrolling your phone book, and you probably will be finding someone or the other. So this is how it started for me.
Is there any benefit if anyone wants to take to make CPA of Australia? What are the formalities? If any Indian CA do the CPA of Australia?
Yeah, very good question, Pankaj. Yeah, like I have enrolled myself as an Australian CPA.
Oh, good.
So there is no formality as such. Our institute, Indian CA Institute, have a MRA signed up with Australia. So what you have to do, like if you are really planned to, so you have to get a good standing certificate from our CA Institute, which is available on the SSP portal. You have to apply it, and you have to answer few queries. You will get a good standing certificate that is valid for 6 months.
Okay.
Post that, you have to you can connect. Like I know someone who does it. There's a agency called agency who offer these kind of services. So what you have to do is, like, you have to appear for one exam, and you are sorted.
Only one exam.
One exam. You have to pay certain fees. You have to appear for one exam, and the interesting part is that they rely on Indian chartered accountants so much that before clearing exam they gave a designation of Australian chartered accountant.
How?
Only by virtue of our merit is so much trusted globally. Our Indian chartered accountants are so powerful. Our institute is so powerful that only if you get a good standing certificate from a CA Institute, they give you data. They give you data for Australian chartered accountant.
By getting enrolled in CPA or ACCA, you have a window to get to connect with them, like CPA, ACCA.
Right. You have a window there, and it is called. You have to select an option called MRA route. There are two options. One option is that you can appear for the full exam.
Like वो गुफा में ना CPA वाले US CPA वाले Australian CPA वाले आए थे, तो हमने उनसे कनेक्ट किया, तो बोले आपसे just
उसको बोलने देना तुम.
हाँ.
Okay, he is explaining his experience. Listen to him also.
नहीं, उसमें क्या हुआ था ना, जैसे हम लोग उनसे बात कर रहे हैं तो बोल रहे आप सिर्फ रजिस्ट्रेशन फीस दे दो, हम आपको पूरे डेटाबेस दे देंगे पूरे ऑस्ट्रेलियन सीपीए की.
It is very helpful, and
यदि आपको कनेक्ट्स मिलते हैं, आप कुछ कर सकते हो, तो काम तो मिल सकता है ना. फिर
काम मिल सकता है, काम हो सकता है. And if somebody wants, I can share the number also of the
मैडम जो थी.
Share the number of your friend.
Sorry.
Share the number of your friend.
Got it.
Okay, I suppose Rahul, all things has been has been taken by you, and all things have been deliberated very carefully. Is there any question from anyone? I suppose there is no question. Now I request. Now we are concluding. Is there any question? Now I request.
राहुल भी एक बार काइंडली एक बार वो वापस से एक बार बोलेंगे वो ऑस्ट्रेलियन सीपीए का क्या बोल रहे थे, मेरा एक्चुअली डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया था.
Sorry, you want to know how to do Australian CPA, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, there is nothing. You are Akshay, right?
Yes, भैया अक्षय.
Yeah, Akshay. So it's very normal. Like you have to, in our SSP portal, there is an option to apply for good standing certificate. So
Okay.
so once you apply it, so if everything is, if there is no, if institute, it is a discretionary power of the institute. If they give you a good standing certificate that is valid for 6 months, so basis that good standing certificate, you can apply for Australian CPA. There, and you have to, there is an option to follow MRA route, mutual recognition agreement route. So, but with that route, you, and with that certificate, with that good standing certificate, you have to apply. And once you apply, and they will check it from their, side also. So once all the details are
Okay.
verified and it's been seen that it comes to their satisfaction, so they offer you Australian CPA designation, basically ACCA designation, and
Okay.
post that you have to appear for one exam. That exam is called Global Leadership Exam. That is a theoretical paper. Once you clear that
Okay.
exam, so that they will give you 6 months of time to appear for that exam. So once you clear that exam, you will be giving a designation of proper CPA there, and then you will be getting access to all kinds of webinars, seminar which they normally conduct, member meet, and all those things will be allowed. So that way you can get that designation.
For that exam, do we need to go to Australia, or it is conducted in India also?
No, you can do it very well from your own office itself in Calcutta, or anywhere, or any
Okay.
city in India. You don't have to go. You don't have to travel anywhere. It can be done virtually.
Okay. Okay.
They will give you.
Okay,
They will give you soft copies of the course material, and
Okay.
and they will guide you, and they guide very properly. They guide very properly. If you want, I can share you the number of that person also who helps with that. I'm just sharing the number in the chat itself. So if somebody is interested, they can connect for that. Or I can share for Australian CPA. 98110 98110 50 664 98110 50 664 So I have shared in the chat box the number and the contact name and number. So she is one person who licensed with the Indian CA office and Australian CA office. They have their office in Delhi. They had also their stall in our GUFA, which we recently had in CA Institute in Delhi. So they can help you very properly. So it is very simple.
Thank you.
You just have to clear one exam and a good standing certificate from the institute.
Now only we have one question in the chat box, and please give the answer, then we will conclude.
Okay, I got one question from RJB advisor that is getting data security certificate is necessary. See, it is not necessary, sir, but it is always recommended because it is never that it is a prerequisite for the assignment, but without that you will not get the assignment. So technically it is necessary. They will not say that they will not give you the assignment if it is not there. It is not in the SOP, but they will not give. So it is commonly understood that it is necessary.
So, what are the names of the certifications and from where we can get that?
Certificates are basically ISO certificates. So anybody who is dealing in ISO can help you with that. It is the certificate name is ISO 9001-2008. I'll tell you. I'm also sharing 1 second. I'm also sharing my. I'm also sharing my website. So from there, my lot of details are shared there. So I think it will help. It will help a lot of people to get data from there, or to understand that how can virtual presence be made, or how can things can be done. My certificate is also uploaded in the website, so that will also help.
Thank you.
I have shared my website link in the chat box.
Thank you, Rahul. Now I request Ravi sir to give a formal vote of thanks to Rahul.
Thank you, Patel. Mr. Rahul Kumar, a good speaker, a good teacher on this topic. We thank you to Mr. Rahul ji.
And younger brother of Ravi sir.
And thank you all of you to join this seminar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Ravi. And thank you, Pankaj Bhaiya in virtual mode. Neeraj Bhaiya is also here
Yeah.
with us.
Thank you everyone. For any query, you can contact
रुकिए,
Rahul. He
नीरज
has
भैया,
given his
माइक
number.
ऑन किया, कैमरा ऑन किया, रुकिए एक मिनट भैया, you want to give a concluding remarks?
नीरज भाई कुछ बोल रहे हैं
Yes,
सर
yes, Sumit.
Okay.
So first
Neeraj
of all, great session by Rahul. So kudos to you. And
Thank you.
I really appreciate this format wherein we have the virtual session also. So people who are not able to attend physically would attend not only from Kolkata, but from outside Kolkata also with on such an important topic. So I'll recommend that going forward, we should continue with this format. And again, very good deliberation by Rahul. Thanks to you.
Thank you, Neeraj Bhaiya.
Well moderated, Pankaj. Keep it up.
Yeah, Bhaiya. Thank you. We will do definitely next session in virtual as well as physical.
Yes.
And topic we will share soon. Okay.
Yeah, in
Sure.
spite of being a virtual session, Ravi Shah has taken the lead to make it physical also. So we should thank him.
Yeah, we are trying.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
We're trying both formats, sir.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Sumit.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
Thank you, sir.